Now, first and foremost, let's talk about scaling, all right? If your ad is converting, it is time to scale. But with that said, scale cautiously. And I'm probably not the first marketer to tell you this. Let's say, for example, you're spending about $100 a day as an example, okay? And let's just say you're getting a 4 times return on ad spend. And that's fantastic, because if you're spending $100 and you're getting $400 in return, what is really stopping you from throwing like your life savings and making this work? But again, as I've cautioned you just now, it doesn't quite work that way. So when you're scaling your winning ad set, what you want to do is you want to do it gradually. So you want to increase your daily ad spend like by 20 to 30% of ad spend increase, and you don't do it any more than that, okay? Why is that the case? That's because if you're spending $100 a day, you probably want to just edit the budget and change it to like $120 or $130 a day. That's probably what you're going to do, okay? And if you're thinking about, all right, but I'm actually ready to spend more money than that, I'm ready to spend, you know, like a few $100s in a single day. So what you want to do is that you can make a duplicate of that winning ad set and duplicate it like 3 or 4 times. So for example, if you have a $100 per day ad set that's doing very well and you intend to spend $300 a day, so instead of just editing that campaign or that ad set and change it to $300 a day, what you want to do is you want to duplicate that ad set 3 times, or sorry, another 2 more times, and at $100 each. And just be ready that as you scale, profit margin gets thinner. So don't plunk your money in drastically, okay? So when you're spending like $300 to $400 a day as an example, you're not gonna get a 4 times return most of the time, all right? You might end up with like 2 times return or even like 1.5 times. And I'm just making this up, by the way, and you might do better than that possibly because of your funnel. I just wanna say that it's quite normal to get a high return on ad spend when you're spending very little, and as you scale, your advertisement gets served to more less targeted people, and of course there's a human dynamics as well. Some people may not warm up to your advertisement initially, they might take some time to get used to it, or something may have changed, or they might make a buying decision afterwards, all right? So I just want to let you know that as you scale, it's not going to be linear, but what's more important is that as long as you are profitable, you're making more money than you spend, that's all that matters, okay? Now, what happens if the advertisements that you're running is not performing, or your hunch is telling you that you could be doing better, okay? So this is where I always say, always be testing. Always try different message angles, test different images, test different videos. Now, I know some people tend to get lazy when it comes to testing things out. They might get lucky on a beginner's luck. They put out 1 or 2 advertisements. It seems to hit a home run, and then they stop running or coming up with new advertisements after this. And to me, this is a really huge mistake and a wasted opportunity, because sometimes you might get lucky with a beginner's luck. Some people might resonate and jive with your message initially, but after a while, there might be user fatigue. People might just get bored of the same message again and again and again. So this is where you want to come up with fresh messages that resonates with people. Try different images, try different videos, whether it's short, whether it's long. For example, if you're doing a make money or internet business niche, what are the pain points that people tend to resonate with? Are they fed up with their jobs? Are they sick and tired of stuck in a traditional business? Are they fed up with competitors? Are they struggling with rising costs? All right. So what I just named to you is just some of the different message angles that you could be attacking. All right. Let's talk about losing weight. All right. Some people don't just do it for the sake of losing weight. Some people do it for self-esteem reasons. Some people are doing it for sex. All right. And these are things that people really jive in, but of course don't use the word sex in your ad, by the way, right? And I'm talking about some sensitive markets. You want to be careful with your choice of words. This is something that I talk about in my other parts of my training videos. I just want to say that at the end of the day, there are different motivational triggers for different types of people, and it's your job to keep testing different advertisements, different messages that would resonate with the people, because you can be selling the same product, but you could be marketing to different types of people. All right. Number 3, okay, in your ad set, you will notice that a lot of people tend to use automatic placements where they let Facebook decide where to distribute their budget into various platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Audience Network. But if I could just give you a little tip here, I would prefer that you skip audience network. And what is audience network? If you're not aware of what it is, it's basically the advertisements that got served up on newspaper or news websites like CNN, Fox News, and many more. These are like partner sites that have agreed to run ads on behalf of Facebook. Okay. Now, in my experience, I find that even though Facebook allocates a very small budget daily to audience network, it's just not that effective. The state of the people that are watching these advertisements from news sites are usually negative. So, and I also noticed on another thing is that spam bots tend to come in from audience network as well. So instead of spending like 10-20% of your daily budget into audience network as distributed by Facebook, it is better that you just uncheck or untick the audience network and allocate that into the rest like Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. So this is just a slight optimization to help you get the better leads or better cost per result. And yes, so you're kind of wondering what native ads look like when you visit news websites like this. This is where they show your advertisements on. And if you notice, a lot of news websites tend to attract a lot of negative people, and rightfully so, because they always run negative advertisements. Imagine that your offer shows up on news websites where people are already like in a negative state of mind, okay? So don't want to do that. Now, tip number 4, try out a long post, all right? So this might sound counterintuitive because a lot of people that try running Facebook ads for the first time, they might intuitively think that running a short-based ad is a lot better because of people's short attention span. We find that writing long posts actually helps get in more targeted audience, because why would that be the case? Number 1, let's talk about the Facebook algorithm or learning machine. The more you write into your post, of course within reasonable limits, the more that you write, it actually helps tell Facebook, a learning machine, that look, this is the kind of audience that I want to hook in, all right? It helps you find a more targeted audience. And we also find that people that bother to read a long post are also more likely to be qualified and interested. Now, if you want to be a little bit more objective about it, I recommend that you put 2,200 characters or under so that this can appear on both Facebook platform and Instagram ads as well. But there's no true limit for Facebook ads, so even if you write longer than this, that's actually fine. But the only drawback is that this will not appear on Instagram, okay? And for any detractors that think that, oh, people will not want to read a long post, and you might have heard of the famous 9-second attention goldfish attention span here. Now, I just want to say that people are not goldfishes, okay? Now, the truth of the matter is, yes, it's true that we are fighting for the most precious commodity right now, and that is attention span. But I want you to know that people are not goldfishes, because you can write a short advertisement, but if they're just not interested in it, you can put 2-3 lines or a short paragraph, and they will still not click on it and take action. Now, on the other hand, if your advertisement jives, okay, and it resonates with the people that it's intended for, you can be writing a short or a long essay, people will still click on it, okay? Tip number 5. So while we're on the topic of long posts, you can also try long videos. Now, most advertisers, for starters, will try doing videos that are below 2 minutes, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But again, falling back on my point earlier that you want to split test as many creatives as possible, you want to have one short video below 2 minutes, and you want to have one long video that offers more education, more awareness building in your video, and this will help you reel in more qualified leads. And how long should a video be? To be very frank, there's no true length to a video. There's some that can run for like 3 to 5 minutes, and I think that's a good length to look at. You can even run for 5 to 10 minutes, and I've seen videos that run for 2 to 3 hours. There are actually people that upload their entire webinar replay onto a Facebook ad video, okay? And if you're wondering, do people actually watch all the way? That's not true as well. But here's the thing. I've gotten results, I've gotten purchases, I've gotten leads that sign up, and when I look at it, they didn't watch the video all the way, but they did get the idea, all right? It's just like people that read the entire newspaper, they didn't read word for word, but they just browse through the headline and the sub-headlines, they read some parts here and there, they get the idea, and they decided that they want in. And if you review all of your past buying purchases as well, I probably bet you don't actually read every single word that you did or watch the entire video that you've seen, okay? That hardly ever happens, and yet you make buying decisions, you make decisions to sign up for webinars, seminars, or opt-ins, free offers, and anything like that, okay? And number 6, avoid using you and your too often in your ad copy, because this is going to sound counterintuitive, especially to direct response marketers. They will struggle with this normally, okay? Old school direct response marketers normally struggle with this. But you have to understand that when it comes to social media, it's kind of like a networking, a social platform. That's exactly what it is, okay? So you don't want to be adopting a me to you communication. You have to treat it like you're in a party. So when you write, you want to be indirect or speak in a very third-party manner. So I'm going to give you some typical bad examples that people will write very directly, like, are you fat? Okay, so you don't want to be starting off like that. Or are you facing this problem? You don't want to start off like that. Do you want to find a girlfriend? Clearly not, okay? And even attention real estate agents, to an extent, I do not encourage this way of doing this, because what you're doing is that you're already excluding people and alienating cold audience right off the bat, and this actually indirectly contributes to a bad Facebook ad score overall, okay? Can you imagine that on a more sensitive level, you put something along the lines like, are you a Christian or attention Muslim people? This is obviously going to be kind of like sensitive altogether, so you want to avoid that kind of language. So even if your ideal audience are Christians or people of a certain religious beliefs or a certain niche of people, so what you want to do is you want to word it in an indirect way. Like, we have helped hundreds of people lose weight, or we have helped hundreds of people transform their body and regain their health since the year 2006. Here's how to increase attractiveness without riches or good looks. Or in the last 5 years, I have successfully bought and sold dozens of properties in LA, and here's how I've done it. Okay? So I think you get the idea. You want to basically rephrase everything from a me to you communication, first person, to third party. Okay? Tip number 7, use original quality photos. We find that in our experiment, we find that original photos tend to convert better than stock photos, but this doesn't mean that you don't try stock photos at all. Again, you want to split test as many creatives as possible, but of course, stock photos might do well, but original photos in our experience tend to do better as well. And you don't really need to work that hard to get original photos, okay? You can even use a DSLR, or even nowadays, any dual camera like iPhone 6 Plus and above would pretty much make the cut, or even Huawei P20, P30, okay? Now, I'm not going to put a full list of phone cameras here, because phones are something that evolve very quickly. It can get obsolete in the next 6 or 12 months for that matter. But I just want to say that any dual camera phones is pretty much good enough. Or you have DSLR, then more power to you. Okay? Tip number 6, use eye-catching thumbnails. So even if you're running video ads, you want to mask it with a thumbnail like this that you're seeing here right now. This is one of a very high-performing ad. And if you're not sure how to create thumbnails, you can pretty much just use Photoshop. Or if you don't know how to use Photoshop, you can just go to canva.com. You can open an account for free. And it's very intuitive that I don't even need to show you how to use it here, all right? You can basically use it as an absolute beginner. Get on canva.com, it's free to open, and start creating images for your video thumbnail, all right? So if you look at all the high-performing advertisements that are video-based, they rarely ever use a default video picture or a screenshot from the video itself. They always mask it with a thumbnail that you can pretty much edit. But might I remind you, you don't want to put in too much text. You want to make it below 20% of the overall coverage, okay? And I find that 1200 times 628 pixels dimension, or 16 by 9 wide, is the best dimension, all right? And last but not least, as you start building your leads, when you start getting more customers and you hit at least 100 email addresses or 100 phone numbers, what you can do is you can start creating a look-alike audience. So to put it in short, a look-alike audience is a powerful feature by Facebook where you're basically uploading a list of names and you're telling Facebook that you want to find more customers very similar to the list that you have given, all right? And for this to work better, you need to put in a list of a minimum of 100 email addresses and or phone numbers, but email addresses will be more preferred, okay? And of course, the more you have, the better. So if you have like a few hundred or thousands for the method, that's going to be even better. And methods that you can use to optimize your Facebook advertising and your scaling for that method. And here's to your marketing success. Last but not least, be patient, okay? You've got this.